It started as a whisper in the data, so faint, so fleeting, it almost went unnoticed. A speck of motion where none should be. A tremor in the cosmic silence. On a cold morning in January, deep in the Pacific night, one of NASA's sky-scanning telescopes caught it first. A point of light sliding across the black, uninvited. It wasn't a satellite, nor a known asteroid. It wasn't debris reflecting sunlight or an echo of a passing plane. It was something else, something new. At first, astronomers called it a transient, a temporary glitch, a wandering flare from the edge of Earth's domain. But the data didn't fade. It sharpened. The object moved in a smooth, deliberate arc that brushed the edge of our planet's orbit. It was small, silent, and it shouldn't have been there. When the first orbital calculations came in, the numbers defied easy explanation. Whatever this thing was, it was moving just fast enough to stay bound to the sun, but slow enough to flirt with Earth's gravity. It wasn't on a simple collision course or a typical asteroid path. It was balanced perfectly between escape and capture, like something choosing where to be. And so, a quiet urgency spread through observatories around the world. The network that watches the skies for danger turned its eyes toward a new mystery. The Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii confirmed it first. Then Atlas. Then Catalina in Arizona. Within days, every major sky survey was watching this ghost in orbit. At first, its motion was subtle, a dance between the Earth and the Moon, never coming too close, never drifting too far. But then came the strange part. The object's brightness flickered like a heartbeat. Regular, rhythmic, almost too precise to be random. Some said it was rotation, an irregular rock turning in sunlight. Others whispered something different. Because the flickers came not just in visible light, but in infrared and radio. Patterns that repeated. Patterns that felt like intent. The official designation came next, 2025 AE3, a placeholder name, cold and technical. But behind closed doors, astronomers began calling it something else. They called it the visitor. Because the last time something behaved like this, it changed everything we thought we knew. Years ago, a cigar-shaped object named Oumuamua had slipped through our solar system, twisting on a trajectory no one could explain. It was the first confirmed interstellar visitor, an exile from another star system. Some believed it was just an oddly shaped rock. Others suspected something far stranger, an ancient probe or a derelict craft, drifting silently between worlds. When 3I/Atlas, another interstellar wanderer, followed years later, astronomers thought they had seen it all. But this new discovery, it didn't behave like either of them. Unlike those fleeting travelers, this one lingered. Its orbit didn't cut through the solar system. It nested inside it, close enough to Earth to monitor, far enough to remain untouchable. For the first time, scientists faced a terrifyingly simple question. What if it came here to stay? As the nights rolled on, radar began painting a clearer picture. The object was roughly 50 meters across, too small for a moon, too symmetrical for a natural rock. Its surface reflected sunlight oddly, as though it was smooth in some places, rough in others. But the strangest finding wasn't its shape. It was its silence. Every natural body in the solar system emits something. Thermal energy, charged particles, the faint whisper of heat. But this object? Nothing. Not a spark of infrared. Not a breath of radiation. It was colder than it should be. So cold it seemed to be absorbing the energy around it. And yet it was moving. Controlled. Deliberate. The laws of motion said it should be slowing under Earth's gravity. It wasn't. It was adjusting, correcting, staying exactly where it wanted to be. That shouldn't be possible. Then came the signal. A low, rhythmic pulse at 1420 megahertz, the hydrogen line. The universal calling card of cosmic communication. It was faint, almost shy. But it wasn't noise. The sequence repeated every 27 minutes, perfectly timed, like a message waiting for acknowledgement. Radio astronomers at Jodrell Bank and Arecibo ran tests. Nothing matched. No satellites, no human transmissions, no cosmic background interference. It was unique, and it was coming from the object. The pulse lasted 3 nights. Then, just as abruptly as it began, it stopped. NASA issued a brief statement. A small near-Earth object has been detected in a temporary orbital resonance. No indication of artificial origin. Continued observation recommended. It was calm. It was measured. It was the kind of language that hides the tremor underneath. But scientists knew what it meant. They were seeing something that didn't belong to the ordinary. A visiting rock? Perhaps. A natural fragment from the asteroid belt. Trapped by coincidence? Maybe. But the data whispered otherwise. Because on the fourth night, the object moved again. It shifted its orbit, not randomly, not chaotically, but with the grace of something aware. It slid upward, as if repositioning itself to the exact point between Earth and the Sun where gravitational forces balance perfectly. The place spacecraft called the L1 Lagrange point. It stayed there, perfectly still. And for a moment, every telescope tracking it seemed to freeze. It was as if the universe itself had stopped to watch. At the L1 point, satellites rest like sentinels. SOHO, Tskaver, instruments that watch over the weather of both Earth and the Sun. And now, this silent stranger had joined them, orbiting in lockstep with our planet. But there was a difference. Our satellites reflect sunlight. They glint like small stars in the void. This one didn't. It dimmed, as if folding light around itself. It became harder to track, harder to see, until even the radar echoes began to blur. Then, the pulse returned. Not at 27 minutes this time. At 54. Doubled. 2 pulses merged, one faint, one strong. 2 frequencies entwined, like a response to its own reflection. And in that moment, some researchers whispered what no one wanted to say aloud. What if it wasn't a single object at all? What if there were 2? The idea chilled even the skeptics. Because if there were 2, they were communicating. Across the darkness, across the gap between worlds. For days, data poured in from telescopes across the globe. The pulse rhythm shifted subtly each night, as if aligning itself with something. Astronomers mapped the variation and found a shocking correlation. The timing matched the rotation of Earth. Every 24 hours, the signal peaked. Always when the same side of our planet faced the object. Whatever it was watching us. Weeks passed. The world moved on. News feeds lost interest. But the scientists didn't. They kept watching the object, its faint shimmer now fading as it drifted slightly behind Earth's orbit. And then, one quiet dawn, it disappeared. Not burned up. Not ejected. Just gone. No debris. No dust. No thermal trace. Gone, as if it had folded itself out of existence. The tracking system scanned the sky for days, then weeks, but there was nothing left to find. The visitor had come and left. But its silence wasn't empty. Because the day after its disappearance, deep space antennas in Australia recorded a faint echo at the same frequency, 1420 MHz, coming not from near Earth, but from beyond the moon. A mirror pulse. Identical. Perfect. It lasted less than 2 seconds. Then it too vanished. In the aftermath, theories multiplied. Some said the object was a fragment of ancient technology, perhaps a probe from another civilization, studying planets the way we study exoplanets light years away. Others believed it was natural, a rock caught in a rare resonance, its behavior exaggerated by coincidence and wishful thinking. But there was a third possibility, one that felt too heavy to speak aloud, that the visitor was ours. Not human, not alien, something older, born in the dark before history, from a civilization that might have risen and vanished long before us. A relic awakened by gravity's whisper, returning to see what had become of the blue world it once knew. It's a romantic thought, maybe even naive. But in the quiet corners of scientific imagination, such thoughts never truly die. Because space doesn't just hold the future, it preserves the past. It keeps the memories of every wanderer, every broken craft, every whisper sent into its endless dark. Months later, when researchers reviewed the telemetry from that strange January night, they found something they hadn't noticed before. A small anomaly in the light curve. a flash of reflected sunlight lasting less than a second, so faint it was buried in noise. But when enhanced, it revealed shape. 3 lines intersecting. A triangle. Perfect, geometric, unmistakable. No natural process could have done it. It was as if the visitor had left a mark, a mathematical signature written in the light itself. And then, as quickly as it appeared, it was gone. Today, the official record lists 2025 AE3 as a temporary quasi-satellite, a rare and harmless companion to Earth. The word temporary says it all. One day it appeared, and one day it left. The data remains archived, the coordinates cataloged, the mystery unresolved. But those who were awake that night remember the feeling, the quiet weight in the air, the sense that something beyond comprehension had drifted near our fragile world, close enough to see us, to measure us, perhaps to judge us. No one knows where it went. No one knows if it will return. But the sky is not empty. And every night, when the telescopes turn and the data begins to stream, scientists still watch that region of orbit, the thin band between sunlight and shadow where the impossible once stood. Sometimes, faint echoes still appear. Flickers of light that don't belong, pulses that come and go like memories of a forgotten language. And when they do, the observatories fall silent. Because deep down, everyone knows what they're hearing isn't random. It's not noise. It's a reminder that the universe is vast, intelligent, and awake. That something has been here. And that one day, when the time is right, it may come again. For a moment, the universe held its breath. And somewhere beyond the edge of orbit, it still is.